Hi everyone, this is the official guide on how to use my software for tapering, guys tapering tool GTT. We're now at version 1.2. I just want to say there was a beta version before 1.0 beta. It's changed a little bit, so I'm making this new video again. But yeah, this is going to cover everything you need to know. And so I'll show how to install it on Windows. On the Mac, it's basically a normal Mac installation. I might add another little video just to show how to do that, but basically you just download the Mac version, open it, you'll be able to drag the app to the applications, and that's it. It's very easy with that. Just be aware also that with the Windows installer, it's actually, I guess sometimes because it's not signed, that's a process that can cost thousands of dollars. You might get warnings, if you want to open it, it's from the internet, we don't know the publisher, things like that. Just ignore it and install it anyway. I assure you it's all good. So let's do this. Let's click here to get the Windows installer. So we do that and we save it. And then I can look here and just download it here and double click, run, and install. It might take a few moments to start installing, so just wait for it. And that's it. And now we can start the app. And it might also take a few minutes or a few seconds to open it. So when you start it, you'll probably get also a page here that says this is, some information about this app and that you have a trial. The trial here, because I already uninstalled and installed, it says 17 days. You'll get, I think at the moment it gives you 30 days. That might change. So yeah, be aware of that. And now basically I'll just delete this one because this is the old one that I had. So the good thing about it is if you install and run install, it will still keep all your taper plans. And this is how you start. Basically you see no schedules yet. So this is the taper plans and you can create a new one. If you had one that you already saved, you'll be able to import it, but at the moment we're not dealing with that. I'll show you how to do it in a second. So we create the first schedule. Now give it a name that makes sense. You can have with the normal version, the full, you can have 3 taper plans open at the same time on the app. And if it's a full pro for basically people that taper other people or help taper other people, like benzo coaches or just coaches for tapering for any psychiatric drug, or doctors or psychiatrists or other professionals, they'll have an unlimited amount open at the same time. But we are going to call it maybe Guys Master Taper Plan. And we press create. Now you'll see this is different from the first version. Before you actually get the schedule, you'll put in all the information here. So daily active ingredient, this is how much you're taking at the moment. This is what you start from. So let's say, for this example that we're starting from 20 milligram of diazepam, so you just put 20 here. The pill weight is how much the pills weigh in general. My advice is always to use a precision scale, basically Joule scale, a milligram scale. You put 10 pills in, which you know how much they are, like maybe 10 for this case, like 10 milligram is 1 pill. So let's assume that 10 milligram pill, that's what you have, and it weighs 75 milligrams in average. If you take 10 of them, it's 750, and you divide by 10, it's 75. Could be a pretty number, not a pretty number. Some of them, I know that some of them don't just look like 75 or 150 or something like that, but we put 150 because that's the equivalent of 20 milligrams of diazepam that you take a day. So if you were taking anything like, like maybe 4 pills of, Xanax a day, and each one of them is 0.5, and you take 2 milligrams per day, then, it will be 4 pills weight that you'll put here. So you'll take 10 pills, you divide it by 10, and then you double it by 4. So in this case, we'll just put 150. It confuses some people that the pill weight is not the actual, what it says, like the active ingredient, which is diazepam for in this case. So there is a big difference because the pill itself has a lot of fillers and other things in it, which is why it's way more, I guess, weighs more than the ingredients. So don't confuse those. This is the most important item here. I'll just maximize it just so you can see everything properly. And now after you've put it this, and that, by the way, can be any number. It could also be, quite an ugly number like 137. So I'll just put 150 for now. This is only if you do liquid taper. Again, if you watch my videos, I don't recommend doing water taper at all. Milk taper maybe, and possibly like this is really good if you have basically liquid solution from a compound pharmacy, or you can actually buy it in your country in a liquid solution. In any case, the pill, the basically powdering the pill is the best way. If you need help with any of those things, I forgot to mention, please contact me. I can do one-on-one with people and explain how it's done, and also help, give them help with the tapering in general. I'm very affordable. I'm very affordable for a reason, because I want to be accessible to people, unlike other some people that charge a lot of money. So use it. Use me, please. Contact me and I'll help you do it yourself. But if you know how to do it yourself, or you have confidence that you can do it yourself, go ahead and use this. This is why I'm making this video. So doses per day for diazepam, let's say that you take it twice a day. Some benzos you need to take more than twice a day, or you can also take it once a day with diazepam. In this case, we'll just do two doses a day. Start date, let's say that we start 15th of March 2026. Interval between the cuts, you don't know yet what the best interval is, but it's good to start maybe with 10 days, and I'll show you how it's very easy to change it once you start using this, same as the default percent cut. So maybe we'll start with 2%. Yes, I know it's very low, but you start low and you go slow, and then you find the rhythm that works for you. Jump dose for diazepam, according to the Ashton manual, is 0.5. Now, if you need any help while you're using this system, and don't want to go back to this video, you can do this, go above it, and just see, like a tooltip of what it is. And the date format is whatever date format you're most comfortable with. I keep it as, just so it's easier to read. It depends where you are. Some people have, like in the US, it's MMDDYYYY, and in Europe, it's DDMMYYYY. So I just keep it like this. Now we can press generate, and you can see the exponential / hyperbolic. I know a lot of people use that term, curve here. It's not a hyperbolic curve, by the way, math-wise, but that's what people are using. So I'm just going to use this word just so people understand that this is basically what you need to do. This is basically a percent from the existing dose with every step. So you can see the dates, or you can see the steps. Now you'll notice that this is going to end in 2031. Don't be, shocked by it. This is not going to be 2031 that you finish this taper. We just chose a very low cut every 10 days. And now I'll explain how to actually use it and how to change it. So this is the initial amount, so you don't change anything here. And then we go here, and you can see that this is the first step. So in fact, if you put the 15th of March, this is like the day before you were on the full amount, and this is the first cut. And you can see here, there's plus 1D, and then there's plus 10 days. It's the these days, and you can change it. Okay, so you just click on it and you change. You can change the start date. You can change anything as long as it's not after the next step. If you want to delete a step, you can just press this, and if you think that you did a mistake, you can undo and redo. Okay, and everything you do would also immediately show in the graph. Now, once you did that, you can, before you even start doing anything else, go to diary. This is where you write what's going on. So maybe on the initial step, just write 14th. I would add the date and the time. This is extremely important. Use the diary as much as you can, please. So put maybe 3 p.m. I am starting tapering 20 milligrams of diazepam. I am feeling XYZ, however you feel. I'm feeling a bit nervous. I have, X, Y, and Z to help me, maybe supplements and things that you find that are helpful. We talk about it when I meet with you. We talk about things that can help. Anything you want to add here. Now, once you save it, you'll see that this changes, and you can hover above it, and you can see what it says. So this is very, very good. You can also write, if you want something to see immediately here, you can write in the comment and change whatever is here, and just write anything you want, and it will save it as well. Now, when you get to the first one cut, like I said, we start with 2% because you want to go very, very slow at the beginning, just to see how you react. It's always, possible. It is and it isn't. So with the diazepam, it has a very long half-life, so you might not have a knowledge of what happened on when. If you cut and maybe after 7 days you have a reaction. So this is why the diary is also very important, to write every day what you ate, what you drank, what you did, if you had anything that happened to you that gave you anxiety, if you didn't sleep, anything that happens to you, just write it in the diary. By doing that, over time you'll see patterns. And it's also very important that when you start, let's maybe say 16th of March 2026, 8 a.m. took my dose. Write what you ate, what you, if any supplements that you took, what you did that day, and then maybe my new dose. So, yep, and then 16th, 3rd, 2026, 8 p.m. took my second dose. Nothing really happened. And then maybe on the 20th or 3rd, I feel a bit, I had trouble getting to sleep. I woke up at 4 a.m. With restless leg. I sprayed some magnesium spray on the legs, and it helped, and was able to sleep more or less another 3 hours, and how you feel and all of that. Okay, And when you do that, you might get to, maybe the second, the 2%, actually you're right, nothing happened. So maybe after 10 days that you dropped to 2%, you'll see that 2% is actually doesn't give you any side effects. Okay? Which I think 10 days is a good time to check. With fluoxetine, Prozac, things like that, it might be even longer because it has an even longer half-life. When with Xanax, it might be, or lorazepam, it might be only maybe a day or two that you'll know. So, it's even easier. And so you go to the next step and you say, okay, 3%. Now, sorry, let's go through all those things again here. So the percent of a cut you always can change. Everything that is blue, you can change. Then the daily active ingredient is how much you're actually taking of diazepam. That's for the whole day. The doses per day is how many doses, and you can change it as you go. Okay? API just means active ingredients. It's active pharmaceutical ingredient, so it's the same as the active ingredient before, but this one is per dose. So we take 2 doses a day. So it's basically half the daily active ingredient that we saw before. Total daily pill weight is basically the 2 pills in this example of 10 milligrams. So it's daily active ingredient. It's the daily pills that you take, and then we divide it into doses, and that's why this is green and kind of bold. This is the most important thing. This is what you actually measure on the scale. So you take the pill crumbs or the powder, whatever you do, however you do it, you shave the pill or you crumb it or you powder it and you put it on the scale, and you reduce or add until you get this amount. And this is the dose. This is for, in this case, 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. This is what you're taking. So basically 74. So you went down from 75 milligrams on the scale of the pill powder or crumbs to 74. And if you were doing liquid taper, you would basically draw out 6 milliliters out. Okay, if it was 300 milliliters, okay? Then milliliters per dose is 147. This is again per dose. And the reason why I separated is like usually when you do, if you do a wet taper where you actually put the pill in and all of that and, shake it, then usually you do it for the whole amount for the whole day, take out the amount that you want to remove, and then sort of spread it throughout the day. But you can also do it the other way around. Like I said, not a big fan of this method at all. Being, if I was blunt, I would say don't actually do it at all. The pills don't actually, this is, become suspended in the water, without, all the ingredients in the pill fall into the, to the bottom very, very quickly within a second or two. With milk, you can't actually see. There is only one study with diazepam, specifically pure diazepam, I believe, that, that shows that it does disperse in the fat if it's full fat milk, but yeah, it's easier to do this. So, like I said, this is the first cut. Now, let's say that you did 3%. Let's say that I would suggest do 3%, but let's assume that you did maybe 6% at some stage. And you felt pretty bad, okay? You can do the second, so you maybe change the date. So maybe after like 5 days it was too much and you knew that it was too much. So you would change the next date, right? So if this is this one, you change it to maybe the 28th of March. So maybe it was after 3 days that you felt it, and you can go back. Now, the math works that if you do -6, it won't be exactly the same. Like, when it's percentage based, so it's always from the existing amount. So -6, you don't really, if you don't understand the math, it doesn't matter. Just be aware that this is not going to be 74, it's going to be 73 maybe. So you might need to basically, because the amount now is smaller, you need to go 6.5% back, or sorry, minus 6.5 back to get to 74. It's always important that if you are going to change your pill back, do it quite quickly. Don't wait to see after 3 weeks if you're feeling any better. There's a very small window of reinstatement usually, and the sooner the better. Don't be a hero if you're having akathisia, if you're having suicidal thoughts, if you're having anything that you think that is way too much for you, and you feel that this is really potentially hurting you, go back. It's not a bad thing. You might need to stabilize for a longer time. You might need to go a little bit slower. So we did that. We got back to 74. You wait until you stabilize, and let's say that on the 3rd of April you stabilized, and you also figure out that it takes you 8 days to stabilize normally if you do a small enough amount, okay? And so you go back to maybe you did 6%, and at 4% you were okay. And you change this, you right click. It only has 7 days interval. So yeah, that's a thing that I'm going to change. There's only like those things here, but I might add more options, like in a little, thing here. But basically, you can do it manually, or you can just put fills every 7 days, and you see how it changes it all. And you also change these, right click on this, apply to all below. And then maybe even you wanted to take a 3 days. So again, with diazepam, you usually don't need to, but let's say that you were taking Xanax 3 times a day, and you realize that you have interdose withdrawals between, you literally feel withdrawals right before you take the next dose. So you change it to 4 times a day. And yes, it means that you might have to wake up at night, or take a little bit more before you go to sleep. Yeah, and if you do that, you need to make sure that the other bits are a little bit less. So you change it also, yes. So it lets you do that. And again, remember, you can always undo anything that you did. See? And yeah, and this is how it goes. So at some point you'll find your rhythm. And you see how we have this little, you can see here how you go. Remember, it's not always linear. You might have to stop sometimes. You might be able to go faster. Especially, and this is what I want to say. So you see how at the end, the tail is so long. But remember, there's a jump dose. It doesn't go on forever. If it was, if there was no jump dose, if you go to 0, it would never get to 0. But you do have a jump dose, which is 0.5, which is what the Ashton manual suggests that the diazepam amount should be. You can also change that. If you get to the end and you think, I need a little bit more time, you can change to 0.3 and apply, and it will change it. You can see here. But let's say that we keep it on 0.5. And toward the end, you stop feeling the drops, because 4% of a small dose is a very, very small reduction. You can see here you're staying basically on 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 pill weight for a very long time. You can start. You can decide to basically change the percent. So maybe do 7%. I would go a little bit slower even, but so let's say 6%. Now remember, this is from a very small amount, and apply to all. And you'll see that now it's basically now where it's a year and a half of tapering. But maybe let's say you went even faster at the end. So you went 9%, and you apply to below, you get even faster. So yeah, you might be able to change those things. You might be able to taper faster. You might be able to you might need to wait. You might find something that helps you to taper faster, like I did. So yeah, basically you can do that. And if you want to add a row, you can do that too. And you can see like we're going below the tapering. But so in this case, it tells you, oh, the jump dose. It didn't change the jump dose. The jump dose doesn't change, so you can always change that too. But basically, it gives you the flexibility to edit it. I mean, remember, you can edit any line. You can delete lines. You can add lines to all of those things. Now, let's assume, and I highly suggested that you want to keep this, or maybe do some experiments. You can go back to manager and you can make a copy. So I think it's this one. Yeah, and you can edit it. You can change the name. So now this is a copy. You can also edit it. You can delete. But let's say this is Guy's master taper plan. I'll just call it experimental. And you can see how things change, but you don't want to change the original one. This is like your number one thing that you open. And yeah, now you, by the way, it's limited to 3 because I don't want you to have like so many ones, so many tables that you open the wrong one and you look at that and you taper from that and it's the wrong one. So that's why it's limited. What you can do though, you see how we have the import. So when you go to this thing, you can do an export for this specific table. So you press this and you get this. So I'll just keep it like that, save. You see that you have the date and the time, and it's a copy. It's a CSV file called GTT. You don't need to understand what CSV is, but it's basically like a very generic spreadsheet or like data format that it's readable, so you can actually use it with AI and stuff like that. So, but it's beyond the scope of this video. So I'll just basically it's just saving it to file. So you do that, and then you could go to manager, and when you go to manager, you can say import, and I'll go to documents, and I have this. So I press it. Always create new. I have this option to replace current, but I really suggest that you delete what you don't use if you need to, and just create new, because you don't want to by accident replace the master plan. Like that's what's selected here. So it opens it and you can work with it again. As you can see, it saved everything. Now, when you because I did an upgrade. Actually, maybe I'll upgrade myself and I'll show you. But you can basically, you'll have print save when you upgrade. Okay, so when you want to upgrade, you can email me and I'll send you a link to pay. You basically pay the amount for the app if it's the full pro, and I generate a key for you. So I'll just put, it will always be from the email that you send me. So I'll just put guide@taperman.com and I'll generate a key. And that's what you'll get. I can do clipboard. Yep. And I press upgrade. And then when you press upgrade, you put your email. You paste the key, activate, and it's activated. And now I can print or save to PDF. So when you press this, you see the whole plan, including all your diary, which is very important. And then you can actually, first of all, for yourself, you'll be able to see the diary like this. You'll also be able to sort of like show it to your doctor. If you go into your doctor and you say, look, I'm tapering, this is my plan, this is how I work with it. The doctor might want to get this software for himself, but if he doesn't, you have it printed here, shows when you printed it and the name of the taper plan. And you can print to PDF, which is saves as to PDF, or to a printer. So you can see here. Okay. So this is one thing. Then you have the other thing that's important, and I added in 1.2. So I have here the benzo equivalent table. This is for people that are coming off benzodiazepines or Z drugs. For other drugs, I will maybe add half-lives for the for the SSRIs and in the next versions and the antipsychotics and all of those. But there is no equivalence table. So this is really important, really, for people that are switching to either diazepam or clonazepam. And I'm actually developing a new app that will be, very soon with a cross taper app for people that do that. There's a lot of problems with cross tapering, so don't assume that it's the best thing for you. This is something we need to discuss because there's a lot of issues. Some people don't tolerate diazepam. Some people can metabolize it. Some people get very depressed on diazepam, clonazepam. They're different. They're not exactly the same. Clonazepam has a very small pill weight that sometimes makes people worried about their cutting. There's basically every decision you make, you really want to have someone on your side helping you decide what's good and what's not. But in any case, it just also shows basically the jumping dose, because 0.5 milligrams of diazepam is the jumping dose from diazepam. Unfortunately, for SSRIs and for antipsychotics, I don't think that there's any official jumping dose. You just need to go as low as you can before you jump. So it's again something we need to discuss. But yeah, this is for benzos just because the ASHA manual exists, and there's also other data around about the half-lives and and all of those things. So you can also see what they're called everywhere in the world that I could find. There is the half-life. This is helpful to decide how many times you want to dose a day. So anything under 24 hours, you probably want to dose at least 2 times a day. But with Z drugs, you don't. So with Z drugs, you really want to take it once a day before you go to sleep, because they're very, they basically make you sleepy. However, you might, if you switch to diazepam, this is, the equivalent table. And then it just some notes about what they are and where you can get them. All sorts of like little trivia stuff you can see here where I got some of those things. Now, and then there's the about, which just explains about the software and all of that, and some disclaimers that are very important, that this software is for informational and planning purposes and does not constitute medical advice. Okay? So basically this is the software. If you have any questions or need to know anything else, please let me know. I'm trying to help as many people as I can by basically giving them this tool. And if you need more help, and a lot of people do, especially if you already destabilized and have a lot of anxiety or cognitive issues, please be kind to yourself. Please book an appointment and we'll go through it. We'll do it together. An intake appointment is 2 hours at least. Sometimes I go over that for like 2.5 hours or even 3. I had some people, and we go through everything. And I make sure that you understand. And if not, I record the conversation. I give it to you, the recording. You can listen to it anytime or ask me. My goal is that you have minimum disturbance to your life, minimum suffering, maximum, success. So that's the end of this video, and I'll see you in the next video.